Modern humans often seek out sensory reduction when the world feels overstimulated. We project that desire onto the image of a secluded, snowbound cabin, viewing it as a functional off switch for the noise of daily life. The visual markers of this fantasy are clear: softly glowing windows, smoke curling from a stone chimney, and a roof weighed down by pristine white powder. These aesthetic cues lead the brain to perceive safety, projecting peace onto a volatile environment. This postcard image obscures our reliance on civic networks. Beyond the cozy exterior, the structure lacks an automated power grid, municipal snow removal, and immediate emergency response. We pack our bags dreaming of absolute, uninterrupted silence. However, treating severe geographical isolation as a retreat is a miscalculation of the baseline support a human being requires to survive. This diagram maps the thermodynamic reality the second the sun sets. Ambient heat escapes through thin glass and uninsulated roofs, bleeding into the freezing environment. Topographically, heavy snowfall erases the access road under a white sheet. The grid severs, and privacy becomes physical entrapment. As the external temperature drops, the physical materials of the shelter react. Moisture levels in the air drop, and rapid cooling forces the wood of the cabin to contract. The structure pops, groans, and ticks as the joints shift in the cold. Deprived of background noise like traffic or neighbors, the isolated human brain struggles to process these sounds. In the dark, the brain misinterprets the natural mechanical scraping of contracting wood as threatening movement just on the other side of the glass. The trees turn dark, and the windows become mirrors. The surrounding forest acts as an active, relentless adversary, boxing the occupant inside a degrading, geographically locked shelter. In this environment, the romantic fireplace is a necessity, not decor. It is an inefficient thermodynamic engine that provides localized heat and requires constant manual fuel feeding to keep the room above freezing. Outpacing the cabin's heat loss requires relentless labor. You must source, chop, and carry wood continuously. Ignore the fire for 3 hours, and your own breath appears in front of you. Comfort is bought with steady caloric expenditure. That balance breaks during a power grid failure. A severe winter storm can snap a line miles away, removing the automated technological support. The lights die, the weather radio turns to static, and the occupant is left to rely on analog heat. This flowchart illustrates sensory deprivation looping. Without external stimuli like new faces or a changing landscape, the isolated brain is starved of data. It recycles the same inputs, the same wind, the same walls, until the perception of linear time breaks down. Survival becomes a dual output. You are burning physical calories to maintain the ambient temperature, while simultaneously burning cognitive energy to maintain a grip on reality. Deep isolation changes the meaning of enough. Consumer comfort is replaced by scarcity mathematics. Every meal becomes a subtraction problem. 1 can gone, half a bag of rice left, transforming food into a finite, calculated countdown. The snow is deceptive. What looks like soft powder often conceals dense, concrete-like layers of compacted ice. When you clear a path, striking that hidden layer transfers a violent kinetic shock into your joints, turning a chore into a physical strain. Looking up into the canopy reveals another threat. The weight of accumulated ice strains the branches above the cabin. That weight can overcome the tensile strength of the wood, causing heavy limbs to snap without warning. Inside, architectural claustrophobia takes hold. You memorize every knot in the floorboards and know which chair creaks. This familiarity with the confined dimensions of the cabin slowly turns a small space into a psychological cage. The physics of a temperature drop are most destructive inside the plumbing. As water molecules inside a pipe cool and crystallize into ice, they expand. This creates localized internal pressure that pushes against the metal until the copper ruptures. Frozen plumbing, breaking branches, and encroaching snow prove a point. The cabin is not a sanctuary. It is a fragile machine failing under the relentless physics of the winter environment. Over time, the occupant's biology adapts. Initial panic settles into a rigid routine. You move slower. You carry gloves to step on the porch. You are trained by repetition into a state of continuous infrastructure maintenance. This graph maps intermittent psychological reinforcement. After 10 brutal days, a moonlit night causes the stress baseline to plummet. Dopamine spikes, tricking the brain into briefly forgiving the preceding trauma. That intermittent beauty is coincidental. The environmental machine surrounding the cabin is indifferent to human survival. The snow does not care if you are tired, and the cold does not care if your firewood is low. Eventually, the clouds return and fresh snow falls. It fills in every footprint, buries the cleared steps, and covers the woodpile. The landscape erases the kinetic evidence that someone labored there the day before. The environment buries the road, freezes the pipes, and covers the tracks. It is not an act of malice, but of indifference. The final horror is that nature effortlessly erases all proof that you were ever there.